Well, good evening and welcome to the Caithness Amateur Dramatics Society tasting. First one we've done for a couple of weeks, and in just over 2 hours' time, England will play Serbia in the European uh, Championships football, and this is a form of tribute to our near neighbours. Uh, it's a tasting, an English whiskey tasting. I'm going to taste four whiskies from England, and partly out of curiosity and to see where we go. I've also got lined up soon one whiskey tasting from the Cotswold distillery. So I'm not going to taste any from the Cotswold distillery tonight. We're going to taste four English whiskies. One from Filey Bay in Yorkshire, one from or two rather, from the Lakes Distillery in the Lake District, and one from the English Distillery, which is in London. So I'm going to start off with Filey Bay, which is the first single malt whisky made in and of Yorkshire, and it's called the Spirit of Yorkshire Distillery. And why of Yorkshire? Because it's created by them from field to bottle on the coast. This is their story. One day, sometime in 2011, the best friends, Tom and Dave, were chatting over a pint. We've got barley on the farm, we've got our own water, and we already make great beer. Whiskey was the next logical step. After a lot of due diligence, planning, preparation, and with the help and guidance of the late, great Dr. Jim Swan, they ran the stills and filled the first casks in early summer 2016. Filey Bay first release was ready in autumn 2019, and the rest, as they say, is history. Farmers, brewers, and distillers, they're in control of every stage of the growing and distilling process, from choosing the variety of barley and how it's grown, to their unique still configuration, right through to bottling themselves at the distillery. Their way of farming, using cover crops and direct drilling, is crucial to the future of Filey Bay whisky. By protecting the structure of the soil and keeping carbon beneath the ground, they're ensuring that their land and their barley are the best they can be. They've invested in two of the largest Forsyth pot stills operating in the UK outside of Scotland. And they've also added a four-plate copper column into their process that works in tandem with their spirit still, which adds to the variance of the Spirit of Yorkshire distillery. So tonight we've got the Filey Bay flagship single malt. It's made with 100% homegrown barley and is the culmination of their bourbon matured style, following on from their first and second releases launched in 2019. So let's see what we have here. It's quite pale in colour, so it's a young whiskey. And it has quite thin tears. But there's some nice viscosity there. Let's see on the nose. It's quite dense, yet tight at first. sultanas straight out of those little kid-sized boxes. And there's a subterranean richness with less sweetness. And apples just starting to ferment into cider. And wine which is turning drier and oakier, like an oak Chardonnay. Farmhouse butter and muddy mints. It's light and it's fragrant. There's vanilla, some citrus and lime, pencil shavings, citrus zest, citrus pith, caramel, Granny Smith apples with honey and custard, vanilla, honey, green apples, fresh pears, unripe peach, and freshly cut grass. A little bit of saltiness, and it's like a cold sea breeze. We'll try this on the bow. It's quite intense. And a sort of aged white wine leading the pack there. Maybe a barley wine too. Dark stewed fruit with white pepper and a French oak creaminess and spice. It's quite mouth-watering. White chocolate covered golden raisins. And mouthfeel is medium bodied, velvety, lingering and syrupy. There's pepper on the front half of my tongue with that French oak rounding it out. It's light bodied, fresh and zesty. Apple, pear, peach, and again that white pepperiness and hints of buttery oil and some leafy green herbs. Fresh, light honey, slightly spicy, fresh apples and a sort of pear syrup, very present. And the finish is a sort of medium length, white pepper and white chocolate. The golden raisins settle down. They're drowned in a sweet and oaky white wine, peppery oak wood, vanilla, and it's a little vaporous, fruity, fresh, and it turns into a delicate bitterness, ending with a pleasant warming sensation. I'm going to try 4 drops of water into this. Will we get English whisk? And we certainly do get a little bit of mist there. Let's see. I'm getting peach, and apricot, and buttered crackers, and a hint of mint leaf. And there's a suggestion of a glass of champagne with a strawberry in it, and rhubarb and custard, boiled sweets. It's fresh and pleasant on the nose, and not as muddled as it may be found. It comes together very nicely. Try the mouth. And chocolate chip cookies, uh, maple syrup, barley, and more peach, honeycomb, and walnuts as well. Just the slightest salty seasoning. And on this one, a little salted biscuit and elderflower comes out. And on the finish, you get gingerbread and orange peel. It's very slightly floral and almost medium well finished. Pepper, malt, pear, and some bitterness. It's a nice introduction to the Filey Bay house. Plenty of fruity spirit and a hint of youth and woodiness. And thankfully, it's not too overcast in the view, which does seem all the rage with most new distilleries. That's a promising start to English whiskey. I'm going to cleanse my palate with a Peter Yard's sourdough cracker. So next we're moving up north a little, not too far, uh, to the Lakes Distillery. The English Lakes Distillery is near the Scottish border and produces single malt whisky and blended malt whiskies, as well as other spirits like gin and vodka. In the so-called cross-border blended malt, Scottish and English single malts are married together in memory of the earlier riots in the border region. Uh, Remembering the football, perhaps England and Scotland will meet. Hopefully they do later in the tournament. Uh, the distillery is located at the edge of the famous Lake District, a nature reserve that is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Uh, every whisky uses the same process and starts with the same raw ingredients, but each distillery does it differently. Making an unpeated whisky, they choose malted barley dried without smoke, adding pure heated water from the Lake District National Park. They break the grain down to sugar. The slower the mashing process and the more we recirculate the water, the clearer the resulting wort will be and the fruitier the spirit will become. With a cherry-led, wood-forward and flavour-packed signature style, they require a robust and fruity remake spirit whose character can be enhanced during maturation. I'm taking inspiration from perfumers who make new scents by creating a pyramid of aromas. They opt for a combination of three different yeast strains during fermentation to create multiple layers of flavour. fermentation time is pushed up to 96 hours, allowing them to reach malolactic fermentation and create the complexity and creamy texture we require to deliver a rounder, fuller milk. And taking inspiration from cognac selling masters, they have taken the concept of élevage, a proactive involvement in whisky's maturation, to create intriguing layers of flavour, so much more complex than putting a spirit in some wood or metal. Élevage is an active commitment through the aging process, conducting the interplay between spirit, oak, and air, where most of the whisky's flavour is created. And tonight, we're going to, first of all, we're doing two from the lakes this evening. The first one is the lakes, the one sherry cask finished blended whiskey at 46.6%. This is the limited edition bottle of the one from Lakes Distillery, which has enjoyed a finishing period in a combination of first spill Oloroso and PX cask, imparting oodles of dry fruit notes with a good emphasis on spicy Spanish oak. And as ever with the Lakes Distillery, the blend is crafted with the distillery's own single malt alongside whiskies from across the British Isles. And the release of the one is a singular blend of select grain and malt Scotch whiskies from Speyside and Highland, with the late single malt at its heart. It's bottled at natural colour and non-chill filtered, and there's only 4,512 bottles of this available. So let's see. On Unbiased, you can see this is much darker. So this is a blend of that was finished in first fill Oloroso and PX cask, and has some Scotch single malt in it, and some grain whiskey as well. Uh, let's see. Very dark. See the sherry cask in it. No colour and some lovely tears on this. So, and at the first smell, the barrel smell of sherry barrels is somewhat obvious. And underneath that, there's rich red dates and ebony plums, candied fruit, and brown sugar, and molasses. Smelling it carefully brings out some caramel cream, and the note of red dates is thicker, and there's a sense of aged rum and French Armagnac. And after it wakes up a bit, the sulphur smell dissipates, but the barrel smell is still very strong. But there's also some red raspberry currants and wine marinated cherries, sultana and ginger, with underlying touches of earthy peat, mixed dates, sun-dried raisins, sultanas, and of course, with sherry cask maturation, you do get that polished wood. So we'll try this on the mouth. And it's chocolatey first, before you get dates, nutty barley, and cracked black pepper. There's a hint of cask char too. You get macadamia nuts, dark chocolate, and a gentle smoke. It's soft and smooth, with a medium oiliness and a strong stimulation in It's a line of brown. And the top notes are strong cocoa coffee, dark chocolate, sweet dry red dates, and old-fashioned sour plums. And then you get the spice, the middle notes of cinnamon, cloves, nutmeg, and other spices, as well as a lot of pepper and that obvious sherry woodiness. There's a little smokiness, vanilla cream, cream coffee, cream toffee rather, and mixed with a little smoke. And the finish is lasting vanilla and sandalwood. It's warm and pleasant, long lasting, balanced flavour, and you get it's less oily on the finish. Vanilla cream, caramel toffee, candied dates, warm sherry oak, and peppery nutmeg. There's small hints of herbaceous herbs, licorice level, and very noticeable hints of peaty peat. Try 4 drops of water in this. So will we get any Lake District mist? And you certainly do. So let's see what water has done to the moulds. So this was at 46.6%. 4 drops of water takes it down towards the 14. So. And you get light and fine notes of orange and milk chocolate. And spices suggest themselves. And it's harmonious and now not too full. Try them out. And you get the fruity sweetness with a little vanilla in the background. The alcohol now is well integrated and not burning. The body is not strong, it's rather delicate but nicely balanced. It's quite a fruity flavoured marmalade with the alcohol coming through well and some nice spiciness. And the finish is medium raw with toffee. It's warm, chocolate, it's a little woody, hints of cooked oranges and orange. So for the lakes, the one sherry cask finish blend, it's much better than I was expecting, and you would struggle to say it was a blend. It's certainly a cut above your average blend. It's super smooth and a delightful sherry blend. Dried fruit comes through for sure. Nuttiness, less so. There is lots of toffee and caramel, and I liked woodiness and spice around the edges. And after the warm dark chocolate to fade, overall it's an easy drinker and a nice sherry touched blend. So I'm going to cleanse my palate again with a Peter's Yard sourdough cracker. So we're staying with the Lakes Distillery for whiskey number three, which is the Lakes, the Whiskeymaker's Reserve number three, bottled at 54%. And this is the third release from the Lakes Distillery's Whiskey Reserve series, which explores the art of blending maturation. This English single malt was drawn from Oloroso, Pedro Jimenez, and cream sherry casks, along with a small number of red wine casks in there too. And I would expect it to be super aromatic, incense forward. It was bottled up at a healthy 54%, and there are 9,700 bottles of this. So it's much lighter than the one. Uh, just very thin to your tongues. Let's see what the nose says. It's woody and sweet, and there's initial aromas of caramel and dark chocolate, along with toasted oak and a hint of beeswax furniture polish. And underneath that, there are further aromas of dark dried fruit, especially raisins and candied citrus peel. And warming baking spices, cinnamon and clove in particular. And behind that, apricot jam. But incense does leap from the glass with dark chocolate biscuits and tricotade. It's an intense and rich nose with fragrant spices, chocolate red fruits and more. And given some time, the intensity softens and opens to a well balanced and a complex note. I'm trying to mouth this. It's quite intense. Intense notes of wood and sweetness around first before softer and fruitier ones follow. The vibrant oak gives a peppery one and has vanilla, which is never far away. And this is combined with dark chocolate from the nose and a hint of cereal, which gives a robust and a slightly bitter feel. The sweet elements, especially toffee and caramel notes, they come through to create a depth and a balance. And this is accentuated by dry fruit notes that include hints of raisins, fig, sultana, candied orange, and the tiniest suggestion of preserved lemons. And the woodiness returns, but it is now more reminiscent of baking spices, cinnamon, allspice, and mace, with a grated nutmeg and a drop of clove. Warming oak spices into the notes of golden syrup, chai spices, and date, juicy prunes, milk chocolate, toffee, red fruits, sandalwood, peppers, and spices. And on the finish, honeyed fruit and cinnamon linger on a warming finish. It's a decent length, but increasingly becomes dry and warming. The sweeter characteristics fade quickly, but then it leaves a woody, spicy, and peppery note to linger. And the heat and the dryness make the water. I'm going to try 4 drops of water in this. Actually, I added 5. Will we get any more Lake District mist? And indeed we do. Lovely to see. So let's see how it goes. And sweet and creamy toffee, Kelms caramel chews, penny chews, uh, some chocolate spicy. I don't find the one in the cherry. Milk chocolate and water brings some freshness to it. If I go really close, I do find some sherry notes there. Try them out. It has a very light mouthfeel. It's fruity. Water brings the fruit out. It warms and it's very pleasant. It almost got a Coca-Cola notes. Very strange. Not bad, just unusual. Honey, not a strong variety. It's not Manuka honey. It's very light honey. Wood, spices, and dried fruits. And the finish is long lasting. Milk coating. From bitterness to sweetness. Toffee, licorice all sorts. Very nice finish with water. This third edition of in the Whiskeymaker series is an intriguing whiskey with so much ex-sherry that you would expect it to be packed with sweetness. But while those elements are present, it is the intensity of oak and spices that dominate. And a dash of water really helps to knock this spin back and create a softer and more approachable whiskey. So I'm going to cleanse my palate with my third Peter George sourdough cracker. And we're going to the English distillery. I have a correction here. At the start, I said the English distillery was in London, and it's not. It was founded by James and Andrew Nelstrop and is situated near the Norfolk town of Thetford and began distilling on 12th December 2006. And impressively, the English distillery sourced their barley, yeast, and water, the 3 ingredients needed for whiskey production, from within England. making this a truly English spirit, and it's England's oldest registered whisky distillery. And the English distillery released the first legal English whisky in over a century in December 2009. Their single malt whiskies have been released under a few different names before they settled on the English distillery. So you'll see older bottles with the English Whisky Company or St George's Distillery with the early releases under the English Whisky Company name were given a chronological chapter number, although chapters 1 to 4 were not technically whiskies, having not having been aged for the required minimum of 3 years. The distillery manager David Fitt, who used to work for Green King, spent 4 valuable months working alongside Ian Henderson, formerly of Lefroy, learning his new trade and adapting from his brewing background before assuming his current role. In a short amount of time, the English distillery has produced a range of whiskies, peated and unpeated, bourbon matured and sherry matured. Chapter 7 even had a rum finish. They've also branched out into cream liqueurs and fortified rum. But tonight, we're going to try the English Smokey, 43%. A peated at 45 parts per million, single malt whisky from the English distillery of Norfolk. So, this one was matured in ex-bourbon barrels, and you can see that from the colour. It's very pale. Again, it would be quite a young whisky, I would think. I don't know where they source their peat from, and I'd love to know that. So, it's quite pale. It's probably the palest whisky of the four that we've got tonight. That's quite thin cheers. Here we go. English peated whisky. My own name. Oh, that. It starts off with sweet licorice, apricots, and fruity peat, and there's a hint of carbolic soap, and followed by peaches, lemon oil, and the slightest scent of TCP. Cinnamon, smoked malt, and blueberry muffins. Vanilla, butter, and tar. It's like a dropped ice cream melting on the road. There's something lemony and spice trying to come out, but it does get rather smoked out. Beach smoked scallop meat and a squeeze of fresh lemon juice. Very, very nice actually. Right, we'll try this one out. Yeah, it's a fire ash, seared pineapple, bluish lemon meringue pie, and icing sugar. And then it slowly develops onto barbecue meats, white pepper, light oak notes, and white grapes. It's a full-bodied smoke paired with light notes of buttered bread and peppered barley. It's buttery, oily. A whisk of smoke tickles the back of the throat. Fat, cereal barley. This is all about that buttery oil and smoke. And there's probably apple kernel or coming in the old custard here too. Or even rhubarb and custard sweetie. And the finish is original. It's a lovely fruity smoke, sweet stem ginger and lingering bonfire effort. Sweet butter. It's oily, but it becomes drying smoke, eucalyptus and menthol cigarettes. I'm gonna try 4 drops of this. Will Norfolk produce a whiskey? Well, it certainly does. Well done. And unsurprisingly, with water, the smoke comes out. The signature citrus notes are still there, but a bit behind the smoke. And cinnamon and vanilla do pick through that after a moment or two. Try them out. The arrival was sweet and thin, and then quickly becomes smoky, ashy, and a bit peppery. Uh, Dark chocolate, aniseed, and caramel spice. And the citrus is still there with a bit of grape. And the finish is peppery and smoky. And the smoke and ashing stay quite long on the tongue. This is actually a superb smoky wine, full of buttery cereal barley and that distinct fruit spirit character, tempered with masses of vanilla from bourbon barrel maturation. And the result is reminiscent of childhood summers so hot that the tarmac melted and so did your Australia. But then you could pop the tar bubbles with your lolly stick. So, in under 2 hours in the preserve, what are my final thoughts on English whiskey? And if you go back a decade and you mentioned English whiskey, you'd have been laughed out of town and had a funny face put at you. But what began as a quiet revolution in a corner of Norfolk has since gained some serious pace and spread to all 4 corners of and new distilleries and the releases are starting to make people sit up and take notice. And some English whiskey is now becoming highly collectible. And we've looked here at three of leading distilleries in the ever expanding field of English single malt. They were all good whiskies. I think I would get that they were not Scotch whiskies on a blind taste. I can pretty much spot which region a Scottish single malt is from in a blind tasting. However, after tasting these, I think there is a place for English whiskey alongside its Irish and Welsh colleagues in the world of whiskey. Good luck, everyone. I hope we meet at some point during this tournament. Thank you. Alba Kubra.